Weekly Outdoor Plus, a new and exciting outdoor show right here on Fox 55 WFXS, every Sunday from 10:30 to 11 a.m., presented by Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, starring new owner Gary Hintz. His youngest son, the show pro, Jase Hintz. And the show producer, creator, and host, his oldest son, Seth Hintz. Now sit back and get ready to learn about archery and the world of the outdoors.
Welcome to Bucks and Bulls Archery this week. If any of you don't know yet, I'm the new owner, Gary Hintz, new location, 3272 Church Street here in Stevens Point. I know a lot of people already heard about it and know about it, but I've got to remind a few of you. This week we're going to do our 3D segment, 3D tournaments. Just this last weekend we went down to King to shoot a bunch of us out of the club, out of our leagues and out of the club here. And just to let you know, there's tournaments every weekend, all summer long, 3D tournaments. You'll see a lot more how they're run later in the show. But just to name a few, there's Rib Mountain, there's one in Polonia, Blackhawk Archers, Shawano, New London, Waupaca, King, Wisconsin Rapids, Waushara County, Wautoma. I mean, there's a lot of them. Pretty much every weekend we're going to try to get a group of people from the archery shop here to go and travel out and have a little fun, shoot some tournaments. There's always some refreshments served there, like food and pop. And so I guess if you stay tuned, we're going to show you a little bit more in a little bit.
Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point is now under new ownership and has a new location. Stop down to 3272 Church Street and meet the new owner, Gary Hintz. His fully stocked pro shop carries Matthews, Hoyt, and many more products to serve all your needs. They also do all repairs for any style and full customizations. Leagues and lessons will begin soon, so stop in today and check out what's new, because we're confident that we can get you from in here to out there. Bucks and Bulls Archery, Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
It's summertime and the living's easy.
If you start all your projects here at Frank's Hardware on Highway 10 in Stevens Point.
From seeds to irrigation and endless lawn and garden tools, we have it all, so you can get your work done and enjoy it this summer. We also do screen repair, lawnmower blade and knife sharpening, and offer the supplies to put in your own well, including equipment rental. And while you're here, pick up your seed and sets in bulk so you always have the right amount.
So make us your lawn and garden headquarters this summer.
That's Frank's Hardware on Highway 10 in Stevens Point. See you soon.
Tired of buying a new vacuum every 3 to 4 years? Well, we found your solution at Barber's Shop, your vacuum cleaner and sewing machine headquarters.
Before I invest in a vacuum, I'm going to a barber shop.
And while you're here, take advantage of their scissor and knife sharpening services. With the knowledge to help you find that vacuum or sewing machine you're looking for, why go anywhere but 2400 Church Street in Stevens Point to Barber's Shop? You need parts? We have as complete of a supply of vacuum and sewing machine parts as you could find. So before you invest in a vacuum, see us, because we sell the best and fix the rest. Barber Shop, 2400 Church Street, Stevens Point.
Real Deal Mineral. Deer eat it gone.
Real Deal Mineral is the real deal. Other minerals on the market contain up to 70% salt. Real Deal has less than 7% salt and more of the minerals deer need to grow bigger horns. And bigger horns mean bigger trophies.
I tried Real Deal Mineral for the first time and I saw bucks on camera I never knew I had.
Real Deal Mineral.
Available here at Bucks and Bulls Archery, Stevens Point, or realdealmineral.com.
Why does your phone work so good here and mine can't even find service?
That's because I went to Sopa Cellular in Plover, Wisconsin.
Sopa Cellular is conveniently located in the village, right next to Menards. Stop in and check out why they have the most affordable unlimited text and data smartphone plans. They offer LG, Samsung, HTC, Motorola, and many other top quality Android market devices. Sopa Cellular has all your accessories for any style of phone, with hundreds to choose from, so they are sure to have the deal you're looking for. Make Sopa Cellular your Element Mobile headquarters and stop down to 1813 Park Avenue in Plover today.
This last weekend we went to the Chain of Lakes Conservation Club near Waupaca. We shot the 3D tournament there. They ended up having 200 shooters at this tournament, a little bit over 200. Over half of them are just bow hunter class people. When you get to the tournament, you sign up, they look at your equipment, your age, and they decide your sex, and they decide which class you shoot in. There's bow hunter, there's open class, there's money class, there's youths, ladies, cubs, and everybody gets to pick, or they pick where you shoot, and then you just shoot against a certain group of people. And the younger people shoot closer, the bow hunter's a little farther back, there's a trophy stake a little farther back, and a little farther back's a money stake. And everybody's classified with their own type of shooters, which is nice, makes it fair for everybody, and it's kind of a fun deal. And we had 15 of us went right from here at Bucks and Bulls Archery, and we all took an arrow. 15 of us, we threw our arrows on the ground in a pile. Then we had a non-shooter just pick out groups of 3 arrows, and then were the 3 people that went in to shoot together. So we had 5 groups of 3. And that way it kind of mixed it up, different style of shooters with different style of shooters, and everybody got to know other people that didn't really know each other and that. And so then we went through the course. That's one of our groups across the creek. They're pulling their arrows out, and we're waiting for them to clear. Then we shoot from here across the creek, and then this is about the halfway point, and then we get to the hamburger stand. We get to have some hamburgers before we continue on. Hamburger and Diet Mountain Dew. We have shots here that range like from 6 feet to 40 yards, and uphill, downhill, across. 2 times we shoot across the Crystal River here, and then when you cross the wooden bridge by the concession stand, you do a circle. It's like half the course. Then you go back across the bridge, and then you do another circle, and that's the other half of the course. It's kind of out in their gun range here. They have it. It's really a nice setup. We'll show you a little bit more later.
All right, now it's time for one of our more exciting segments here on Weekly Outdoor Plus. It's where we get to keep our fans connected with the show. Don't forget, you can send in your pictures to weeklyoutdoorplus@live.com or link them up to us on Facebook to get in this segment of our show each week as we show you guys what's going on here at Sopa Cellular. Right now, you can get a $150 bill credit for all new accounts and $25 bill credit for all new lines added to current accounts, which can be up to 5 lines. They are also offering an unlimited talk and text rate plan promotion for $59.99 for the single line, or a shared plan for $99.99, which includes 2 lines, requires a 2-year agreement, includes all standard calling plan features, and you can get the add-on feature for the unlimited data, which is only $29.99 per month, which is a great way to get unlimited talk, text, and data on one of the greater networks in our area. And then refer a friend this month. Instead of getting $30 for each friend that you refer, you're going to get $50. 20 extra dollars, up to 3 different lines or friends per month, up to $150 credit. First up this week, we have a picture of Gary and his wife Kathy with a couple of the fish they caught in Florida on vacation last week. And here's one of the Stankowski boys with a couple of walleyes they got opening weekend. And here's one from turkey hunting that I thought was pretty unique. And here's the first fawn sighting of the year that Jase sent us. And the last 2 pictures we have today come from my buddy Ryan Browning, who did a little fishing with his uncle out on the Ohio River for some meaty catfish. So stop on down to Sopa Cellular today and check out all their great deals, and stay tuned for more Weekly Outdoor Plus action.
Hi, welcome to Frank's Hardware in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
Proud to be family owned and operated since the 1940s. Conveniently located on Highway 10, Frank's Hardware has all your general hardware needs, and we specialize in a wide variety of products, meaning all of your paint, lawn and garden, plumbing, electrical, and many more of those household needs. Not only do we have a new one,
But we can show you how to fix what you already have. Did you know Frank's Hardware also offers a wide variety of services?
so stop on down to Frank's Hardware today. We don't just have great products,
But we have great service.
Welcome to this week's lesson segment on Weekly Outdoor Plus, brought to you by Barbershop, 2400 Church Street, Stevens Point, where they have the most wide variety of vacuums, sewing machines, and parts you can need, and great service to go along with it. So get your notebooks and pencils out, because it's time for your lesson segment with myself, Jase Hintz, and Weekly Outdoor Plus. Welcome to this week's lesson segment with myself, Jase Hintz. I'm going to be talking to you guys a lot about our archery tournament that we had this weekend on a 3D archery course. A lot of it will apply to your hunting as well. Majority of it is very strict on 3D, and it's also going to, we're going to start by telling you how to prepare yourself to get in your truck to get there, what kind of equipment you're going to be looking at, and it's going to come down to basically executing your shot, picking the right shot, making sure you got everything ready, and you're going to be going through a lot of the same stuff we've gone through the last couple weeks, but how it actually ties into making the right shot. So to start off here, I'm going to be talking to you about how to prepare yourself to be going and not forget anything. Make sure you have all the little knickknacks that a lot of people don't think about that really can make a big difference on your score overall. One thing when you're getting set up, even like one thing we always make sure is, one, check the weather out. Make sure you're dressed appropriately. If you're cold, you're going to be shaking, and what have we been cutting out this entire time? How not to shake. So make sure you're dressed appropriately for the weather. Another thing is take an umbrella. That's a huge one that a lot of people don't do. It could be sunny out, they don't take an umbrella. Still can rain, that no matter what, it's still one thing to look at. Another thing with the umbrella is it's not only used for rain. If you're out there and say you got 10-mile-an-hour winds shooting from your side and you're shooting with a partner, we always help each other out and hold that umbrella for them. So even hold it on their front arm so you won't be blowing in the wind and everything. If it's sunny out and you do have a lens in your bow, or even if you brighter string, it's going to be like a lot of the stuff will glare at you when you're shooting and you won't be able to see the target past your peep sight even. That's another thing. You got an umbrella, you can have someone hold it up for you. I mean, a hat will work for that too, but an umbrella is a lot more easy, a lot more convenient, and it's a really little simple thing you can carry with you on your quiver, in your back pocket, just a little pocket umbrella, really perfect, really easy. Another thing is, if this is a marked yardage 3D, I highly recommend taking your rangefinder. We had ours the entire day, because if you sight into your rangefinder and they're using a different rangefinder to sight in, and they got all the numbers on the stakes and everything, your rangefinder can be off by anywhere from a yard, yard and a half to 2 yards. And those little yards, I mean, you're shooting out to 45 yards, that's a big miss, all right? So make sure that you have those couple little things when you're getting ready. Another thing, if you shoot feathers on your arrows, make sure you have some sort of cover for them if it does start raining. You need, a big Ziploc bag, anything, even a towel to hang over them, because if you get those wet, they shrink up and they're going to be really heavy. It's going to really throw off your shots really simple. Every other thing, a lot of people take chairs. If you're on a bigger 3D course, the chair is very convenient for when you are waiting for the group in front of you. If you can take a seat, get a load off of your feet, really nice, another way to relax, another way to stay comfortable, stay in the zone, be ready. I recommend wearing a hat, and another thing, taking bug spray, all right? And when you're shooting out in the woods, especially here, a lot of mosquitoes, a lot of wood ticks. It's not very fun if you're sitting there swatting them the whole time. Spray yourself down ahead of time, take it with you on the course if you need to. Very easy things that'll help you progress as an archer, progress as a 3D shooter, and even when you're normal hunting, these are things you can do while you're sitting in your tree stand. Take a Ziploc, don't let your feathers go bad on you. Take an umbrella, don't let your bowstring get soaking wet, because that'll slow you down a couple feet per second every single time you're shooting. The other thing too with your equipment wise, when you're shooting for the 3D and it's marked, it's okay to have, a little bit bigger, a little bit slower setup. But if it's unmarked, again, you're gonna have to judge yards and everything, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But if it's unmarked and you have a really slow bow, it's gonna be very hard unless you are very good at judging yards. If you can get your bow shooting 280 to 300 with a little skinnier arrow, sometimes it's worth sacrificing the diameter and just by being more accurate and cutting through that wind compared to the fat arrows that'll get blown in the wind. But you catch a couple more lines, but if it's blowing in the wind, you're not gonna catch any lines. You're gonna catch the farthest lines out on the entire target, and you don't want that either. So we're gonna take a quick break here, come back, I'm gonna talk to you guys about how to actually execute your shot now when we're in the woods and when we're walking up to our target. So stay tuned here, we'll be back with you in a minute.
Tired of buying a new vacuum every 3 to 4 years? Well, we found your solution at Barber's Shop, your vacuum cleaner and sewing machine headquarters.
Before I invest in a vacuum, I'm going to a barber shop.
And while you're here, take advantage of their scissor and knife sharpening services. With the knowledge to help you find that vacuum or sewing machine you're looking for, why go anywhere but 2400 Church Street in Stevens Point to Barber's Shop? You need parts? We have as complete of a supply of vacuum and sewing machine parts as you could find. So before you invest in a vacuum, see us, because we sell the best and fix the rest. Barber Shop, 2400 Church Street, Stevens Point.
Welcome back. Now I'm going to talk to you guys about how once you get to the place you're going to be shooting at, how you're going to get set up and everything, and how to actually execute the shots that we've been going through the entire time. When you get to the place, first thing you do, obviously, get ready, get comfortable, make sure you got the proper apparel on again so you're not going to be too cold or too hot. Once you get all registered and everything, go to their practice range. Every single one of them is going to have one. You don't have to sit there and burn yourself out. All you got to do is check your marks, make sure you're on. If you're not on, just make sure, I wouldn't move my sight, all right? If you say you shoot 20, 30, 40 yards there and you're high on all of them, don't move your sight, because that right there is already telling you that normally it's outside. They got a couple bricks in the ground, which aren't exactly perfect. They got a couple bunkers up that have been there forever. It might not be exactly 20, exactly 30, exactly 40 yards, but if you're hitting consistently, that's all that matters, all right? So when you go out there, you start judging your yards, you'll be right on to where you've always been shooting. So now once you practice, you get all warmed up and everything, when you walk up to your targets, like this is the biggest key when you get there. One thing when you're walking, take your time, all right? Sometimes you got big hikes in between targets. Too many people try to sprint to the next one, and you end up just waiting for the people that are there anyways, you know? And there's no reason to hurry. I mean, you came out here to have fun, I hope, and, you know, have a good time with your buddies or whatever. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time, get there. Don't wear yourself out on something that's not even shooting because you came here to shoot good. One thing too, when you're walking and carrying your bow, a lot of people, you know, carry it all awkwardly. It's heavy if you got a heavy bow or anything, or you got a light bow even, you know, don't be carrying it really hard so it makes your arms tired. Switch arms if you have to. One thing that I always do too is most bows you can find a very comfortable spot to hold it on your shoulder. A lot of people walk through the woods, you can hold it up and you don't have to actually, I mean, you're using no muscles at all on your arms and everything, just keeping it from falling off. And that's something right there that'll also save your arms. So when you are pulling back by, you know, target number 28, 29, or 30, you're not tired already. This is one little thing, again, saving your muscles. That's all it's about, you know, endurance basically, practice, and little things like this will help you definitely in the long run. So once you get up to your first target here, what you got to do is, first thing you got to do, get a comfortable base. Like we started on week 1, you got to get there, and a lot of them will be on little hills and stuff. What you got to do, I mean, either wear a pair of, you know, older sneakers or even a pair of boots, anything that works that has a nice flat surface on them, but make sure you get in there, you kick out the floor if you need to, kick some dirt around, make it so you're on a nice flat level surface. As soon as you're on a nice flat level surface and you're standing right where you're going to shoot is where, if it's not marked yardage, you're going to have to start judging. All right, because the first thing you always want to do is move your sight, because otherwise you forget to move your sight and you're going to miss and you're going to not be happy, and it's a big point coster. All right, so when you get up there, stand exactly how you're going to shoot. And the easiest way that I've learned judging yards is, when you're doing it, find a common denominator that you've always done. Like what I do is 20 yards. I shoot 20 yards indoors every single day. Easiest way to, I mean, I can pick out 20 yards with plus or minus a half yard. I mean, you can find your spot, find a tree. Okay, that's 20 yards, or it might be 21 yards, hair over. Then look at, okay, target looks like it's another 8 behind it. Okay, I'm at 29 yards, 28 and a half yards, whatever I want to decide. Biggest thing when you do pick out exactly how far you think this is, you need to move your sight right away to your first guess. 90% of the time, your first guess is going to be your right guess. One thing that you also take into effect, once you move your sight and you get it set exactly where you want it, is how the animal is laid out. If you've got a little tiny animal out in the middle of a field where it's open like that, it's going to look like it's a lot farther away. Or if you have a little animal in a tunnel where it gives you tunnel vision, it can look a lot farther away. Where if you have a big animal on a field, it's going to look close, but it could actually be out there at 40, 45 yards. Another benefit is if you know how far the max yardage is. If you're shooting on a course, 90% of the time it'll tell you max yards 45 yards, max yards 30 yards. If you know the max is 45 yards and you're judging an animal and you think it's 50, you're 5 yards off already. Move your sight back to 45 at least. I mean, normally they don't even put them right on the back wall there, so that's one thing too when you're judging your yards. Think of the little tiny things, you know, size of the animal. Is there something that's influencing how far you think it is because of like the optical illusion of how big it is? Once you got your final guess, set it on there. Biggest thing, be very confident with it, okay? No matter what you put your sight on, whether you're off by 5 yards or right on the nuts, you need to literally decide that you are right, okay? Mentally, you are perfect. Now you just execute that shot we've been working on day in and day out, all right? So if the wind's picking up really heavy and really slow, especially here in Wisconsin, we got really good gusts. If it's blowing really hard, give it a minute. Wait until it slows down a little bit, or have your buddy grab that umbrella and hold it for you so that he can block the wind for you. All right, now, once you do this, you gotta pick out your animal. You got to pick out little marks or features that you can aim off of. Another thing, make sure you got your binoculars. Obviously, when you get ready, you got your sight set and everything, get your release ready, use your binoculars. Find where that 12 ring is, find exactly where it is. While you're looking at the 12 ring then, if you can't see a hole in the middle of it, which, you know, normally the holes are actually going to be influenced high or low, left or right. So make sure you know exactly where the center of it is so you can try to pick out the center of it when you're aiming. So if you do miss the center, still catching lines. A lot of things you can go off of. The front leg, you know, front leg is pretty much always in line, or if you go off the back of the front leg, you'll be right in line with that 12 ring. If there's trees around it, you can see a tree behind it, or there's a branch going in front of it. Little things like that you can pick up that you can aim off of. Javelinas, I mean, you got leopards, you got coyotes, all those have little tiny white or black dots on them actually that are, you know, somewhere in the middle there. Fallow deer has a perfect white dot almost every time. Find little things like that so you can pick out the exact spot you need to hit with your shot, and then focus on that spot, make your shot, and don't worry about anything else. Trust your yardage, that's the biggest thing. Trust it, make your shot. You miss high or low, you probably judge the yards a little bit off, but that's where you got to practice. I mean, you can practice in your backyard, have stakes out there at 10, 20, 30, 40 yards, and every single morning step out to your back and just look and, okay, there's 10. Mentally figure it out, okay, there's 20, okay? And if you keep doing that every single day, even it's a proven fact, you will get better. It's just muscle memory of knowing basically how far everything is. Judging yards on hills and everything is another thing too. I mean, big dips in the middle and stuff, don't go off the ground then, go at a tree that's actually at eye level, because you're looking at the level from you to there, not the hills and everything. Those are the little things that you definitely got to be thinking about. If you can, practice. I mean, as much as you can practice judging yards, even if it is marked yardage, step up, guess how far it is, and then cheat and look at the back of it and make your normal shot. All right? Little things like that will definitely make you a lot better shooter, have a lot more fun out on the 3D course, and have a good time with your buddies. So, as always, I'd like to thank our sponsor over on Church Street here, Barber Shop. Thank Norm for helping us out, and don't forget to stop in if you have any problems with your vacuum, sewing machines, anything like that. Norm will be more than happy to help you. All right, as always, thank you. Have a good week.
It's summertime and the living's easy.
If you start all your projects here at Frank's Hardware on Highway 10 in Stevens Point.
From seeds to irrigation and endless lawn and garden tools, we have it all, so you can get your work done and enjoy it this summer. We also do screen repair, lawnmower blade and knife sharpening, and offer the supplies to put in your own well, including equipment rental. And while you're here, pick up your seed and sets in bulk so you always have the right amount.
So make us your lawn and garden headquarters this summer.
That's Frank's Hardware on Highway 10 in Stevens Point. See you soon.
Real Deal Mineral. Deer eat it gone.
Real Deal Mineral is the real deal. Other minerals on the market contain up to 70% salt. Real Deal has less than 7% salt and more of the minerals deer need to grow bigger horns. And bigger horns mean bigger trophies.
I tried Real Deal Mineral for the first time, and I had over 1,000 pictures on my trail cameras in less than a week.
Real Deal Mineral.
Available here at Bucks and Bulls Archery, Stevens Point, or realdealmineral.com.
Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point is now under new ownership and has a new location. Stop down to 3272 Church Street and meet the new owner, Gary Hintz. His fully stocked pro shop carries Matthews, Hoyt, and many more products to serve all your needs. They also do all repairs for any style and full customizations. Leagues and lessons will begin soon, so stop in today and check out what's new, because we're confident that we can get you from in here to out there. Bucks and Bulls Archery, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Why go anywhere else when Rookie Sports Pub in Stevens Point has 52 different beers on tap? Known as Portage County's best sports bar for live music and karaoke venue, they have 12 HD TVs, all sports, all the time. Keep up with their Facebook page for all upcoming live music and see who's going to be on the Point Brewery comedy stage next. No joke, they have comedy shows. Also, a local favorite for burgers, wings, and pizza, even free taps and rails on your birthday. Find them on Facebook and catch out the action at Rookie Sports Pub on 3425 Church Street in Stevens Point.
Before experiencing it, you won't know dependability. Unless you've drawn it, you haven't felt smooth. Until you shoot it, you've yet to be this accurate. The Matthews Creed.
Available at Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
I'm going to show you a couple of the sights that are used out in the 3D tournaments. This fixed pin sight is, you sight it in like 20, 30, 40, 50, and then you shoot your targets accordingly. If your target's 25, you put the kill zone between your 20 and 30 yard pin, you make your shot. And this is what 90% of the bow hunters use out there, is a fixed pin or a somewhat slider pin, but this one here is a little more advanced. It's got a sight tape on it at every yard, so if your target's 23 yards, you can put your sight right on 23 yards. If you can see that, it slides up and down and goes right to the yards. And we make these sight tapes here at Bucks and Bulls Archery right on the computer. We take a few measurements, arrow weights and speed of your bow and stuff, put it all in a program, and it prints out a sight tape like this. That's a little bit more advanced, I guess you'd say. But probably the most popular sight you see out on the course is this HHA slider sight. They make 3-4 different styles, but it's it's a slider where you can put a sight tape on. You don't have to make it on a computer. It comes in a box. You buy the sight, you sight your bow in at 2 different distances. It tells you what tape to put on, and you end up with a nice little sight tape like this. Pretty much the same as what I showed you here, but it's just a little easier and faster than doing it on a computer. And I say by far this is probably the most popular sight you see out there is the HHA. All the clubs that I mentioned earlier about the Central Wisconsin 3D tournaments all pretty much use the same style of target, but there's a couple different manufacturers that make these targets. There's Mackenzie's, Reinhardt's, Deltas, but they're pretty much the same type of target, hard foam like this, life size. And they go from, man, we shot stuff as big as moose and some big zombie animals and dinosaurs, all the way down to, they call them rock rascals, like woodchucks and raccoons and small skunks and stuff. So, but they kind of put the bigger targets farther, the closer targets closer, so it's not really a scary deal. And then on the scoring rings, there's a 12, it's right in the middle. Then there's a 10, then there's an 8, and the 12 is used pretty much for like the people shooting for money, because they have to hit them 12s to beat everybody else because they're that good. The 10 ring is pretty much your bow hunters. They just want to hit them 10s so they get their hunting practice, and that way they can say they shot and harvested all the animals that they shot at. The 8 is actually still a kill zone. It's kind of like the heart and the lungs. The 8 would be the lungs. The 5 would be the rest of the animal. And you really don't want 5s because that just wounded the animal and it ran off with your arrow. Okay, this particular target is kind of a sample target. It shows where to shoot the animal on one side, and then if you flip it around on the other side, it actually shows where your arrow would have came out. And here you got your 12 ring, your 10 ring, your 8 ring would be pretty much all the red. Anything else would be your 5 ring. And when you shoot these animals in these tournaments, they're on different angles, quartering towards you, quartering away, uphill, downhill. So it's a lot of fun. It's very challenging. And all the people we were with, nobody wrecked any equipment or lost any arrows or anything. So it's a lot of fun. You don't have to worry about missing the target and stuff. A lot of people don't want to go like, oh, I'm going to miss, I'll lose my arrows. But it doesn't happen because they keep them close enough where you're going to hit the target. All the shots we took uphill, downhill, across creeks, different distances. And this particular tournament was marked yardage, where you can guess how far it is, and then you look on the back of the stake and it tells you. So you can see how far off you were. Say, oh, that looks like 24 yards, and you look down, it's like 31 or something. You think, oh man, I'd have missed that target, you know. And in other tournaments, they don't mark the yardage, and you have to guess it and make a shot. And then the scores are a little lower, just because you're guessing the yards, and it's tough then. And then a lot of our shots this weekend were downhill, uphill, all different distances, like I say, from 6 yards probably out to 42-ish or so, and different animals. You'll see all the different targets. It's a lot of fun, and if you want to get involved, you can just kind of keep in touch with us here at Bucks and Bulls, and whenever there's a tournament, probably within an hour here, we're going to go to it on a weekend. I don't know, Saturday, Sunday. We kind of watch the weather and go to a nicer day if it's a little cooler or no rain or whatever.
Thank you for watching this week's episode of Weekly Outdoor Plus, presented by Bucks and Bulls Archery in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Don't forget to check us out online at facebook.com/weeklyoutdoorplus. See you next week.